How to make money in crypto is a question that I get literally all the time from a bunch of people, whether they're on the internet, whether I'm in person. When I tell them about crypto and that I actually, make my money with crypto, the first question that they usually ask, if they're not in crypto, is how to make money in crypto. Because let's face it, 99% of the people that are in crypto, they're here for the sweet, sweet gains, baby. So in this video, I'm going to tell you how to make money in crypto. Now, crypto is like poker. It's a game of luck. Yeah, sure, you might get those, pocket aces and you might win a hand. Yeah, sure, you might get lucky, with the 5-5 and you might win a hand, or with the king 8, or with like whatever, you might get lucky sometimes and like win a hand. The same is like, okay, your friend might tell you about a crypto token, you might put some money into it and like, sure, you might make some gains. Or like you're gonna see online some tokens and it's like, okay, this is the next best thing, so I'm just gonna throw some money in it and get lucky and make the next gains. Or I can actually get addicted to this, like a degenerate gambler, and just throw money at everything, hoping that one of these coins will get lucky and then it'll make me all those gains back. Or I can play it a bit more calculated, like a game of skill, like it's also like poker, because at the final tables you usually see the same people. That's why there's, good poker players like Daniel Negreanu, like Phil Hellmuth, like Phil Ivey, like all of these other, good poker players that have skills, have the poker skills necessary to not rely on luck. Sure, luck is very important. You might get dealt a pocket ace hand, and you might still win to like a king 8, if the flop comes like king 8, like he flopped the king a full house and you still have those pocket aces. So like it's not necessarily the best situation that you're in right now. Same with crypto, like you might do all of your research and you might invest in like a really good project and it might still not do well. That's okay, but overall, over a longer period of time, if you start generating these skills, if you start learning these skills, it will be easier for you to generate them sweet, sweet gains, baby. So, so just like that, there are basically two types of crypto players, right? You have the crypto degens, people that are usually investing, in like 10, 100 coins per day, and they're like, throwing money left and right, trying to see what sticks. Some of these coins go to the moon, some of these coins go into the ground. Or you have the crypto investors, the people that are actually taking the time to do their research, whether they invest, for like a longer period of time in assets like Bitcoin, usually like, hey, if I want to invest for like 5 years or 10 years or 20 years or for my retirement, Bitcoin is pretty safe bet, no financial advice. This is just from my experience and my personal opinion. Or, like you might invest even for shorter terms, for them sweet, sweet gains, but for projects that you actually believe in, that like you think like will actually do well. And this is the category that I'm actually in right now. I cannot play this DJing game. I cannot, like be stressed every, minute or two that like this price is gonna go just up and down, and like, in 20 minutes I might be up 100x, and then in the next minutes, like it's all down. It's a very risky game. It's a very, very high risk, high reward game here, and that's why a lot of these people, like you see them, just up all night, hooked up on, energy drinks, just doing what they need to do in order to chase the 100x. Or you have the crypto investors, the people that are basically like, doing the research, chilling, like me, like every day I come, I research a couple of projects. I look at like what my other investments are doing. I look at some podcasts, I look at some news, I look at some videos like this. And I look for a good coin that I'm actually going to invest in after doing my research. Now, when I'm in skills, skills are actually not charts. A lot of people think that the skills to win in crypto is to know how to read the charts. Now, don't get me wrong, charts are important. It is important for you to know how to read the chart and how to look like, at least the basics, at least the fundamentals for reading a chart. But the skills necessary for you to make money in crypto are not only about reading the charts, are not the main ones, for like investors like myself. I mean, I look at charts, like, I watch videos of people that are doing chart analysis, and like I follow them, but I cannot necessarily do chart analysis myself, because I'm not really playing in that game. I'm not really like a trader. I'm an investor, and that's actually the third part of people that can be traders. I'm more of an investor, right? And as investors, the most important skills that we need for winning in this game is to learn how to do our own research, right? DYOR is something that people say all the time, like every time people give, like people give some opinions, all the time they say like DYOR, but what does that actually mean? What does that actually mean to do your own research, right? It's just a word, it's just a thing. Like, I know a lot of people don't do their own research because they don't even know how to do their own research. So that's basically what I'm helping you now today, to learn a few tricks on how to do your own research. And again, this is not financial advice, I'm just sharing from my experience. So here on this page, I have a bunch of things, a bunch of ways for you to basically learn how to do your research. And these are usually the things that I basically look when I am doing my research. So first and foremost, I start here on the top left with the idea. I'm basically looking at the idea of a token. Is it a meme coin? Is it in the AI space? Is it into some other staking mechanism? Is it like what is really the idea of this token? And there are a lot of ideas that are good, and there are a lot of ideas that are bad. There are a lot of ideas that were trendy like 2 years ago, and there's a lot of ideas that like are kind of like new, or they're following the current trend. So it's also important to understand if this is a trend right now, right? So for example, artificial intelligence, AI tokens, were pretty big, like for the past 6 months. Now it's kind of dying down, but basically you could make decent amount of money if you would invest in tokens that had AI idea related, that were like actually trending, because a lot of people were investing more into these tokens. So it's important to also understand what's kind of the narrative that's being played right now. It's also important, after you understand this, or I mean after like you have a look and like be like, hey, this is good, or this was like so 2018, when you just need the white paper and the money would be thrown at you. This is not that time anymore. If a project has a white paper but the white paper is shit, it's probably not a good project. Then you basically like are looking at the website. The website is very important. Usually good projects have good websites. Good projects have professional looking websites, and usually bad projects have like crappy professional websites, or like not really existing projects. Now, in the meme coin space, there's a lot of meme coins that don't even have a website and they still do super well. So it's not like they must have. Sometimes they don't even need to. And sometimes there's also like good projects that start out with a bad website, because that's just not their thing that they're like good at. But a lot of the good projects that have like good narratives, that are good investments in general, are projects that are into technology. And the companies that are into technology, they'll usually build a good website, because they're into tech. And like blockchain itself is technically all about technology. It is a blockchain technology that we're using, and there's a lot of these technology companies that are using blockchain technology for something, that are launching some crypto coins or some crypto tokens that you can invest in. So a lot of them should be as like backing assets for the technology. Now, not all of them, because a lot of these tokens are meme tokens, meme coins. They're meme coins, and it's important to make the distinction if this project is a meme coin, or if this project is like an actual technology project. Because both of these will give you like different kind of fundamentals to look at, especially. Now, for whichever of these projects it is, it's important to look at the team of the project is actually super important. And nowadays good technology projects will actually have their team what is called doxed, so that you'll know who this person is. Like, hey, some person is the founder of a project, because they want to put their face behind their project. Like back in 2021, there was there were a lot of coins that were launched undoxed. The founders would be undoxed. And after a while, people started demanding the founders to be doxed, because a lot of people used to do rug pulls, a lot of coins used to rug pull, and then they wanted to know basically like who are we, who, if this person is true enough to put their real name behind the project, with something like a LinkedIn or some sort of like social media where like you can check that, hey, this is the real person, it will be much easier to demonstrate that like, hey, you're a legit founder and you're here to stay. You're not gonna rug much sooner. So the team is actually important, and nowadays, like most of the good projects have the team doxed, and then you can actually check inside of this team if they're like first-time founders, if they're like like if they have some experience in the space that they want to do. For example, like when metaverse was a thing and where all of these metaverses were basically coming up, if you look at the team and the team has no experience in video game production, has no experience in, like CGI or something like this, they're like, how the fuck are they going to do a metaverse? How the fuck are they going to build a metaverse? So at least, like you should do the research into the team. Or like even when you're investing into meme coin, like if it's on a platform like pump.fun, you can look at the creator and you can see if they've created meme coins before, because usually creators that had one successful token know how to launch the tokens and will most likely, like have other successful tokens after. Not always, but it's good to do this research onto the team, right? Now, besides the team, we can go into the social medias, and sometimes this is usually how you can find out about a token. Like, hey, you see it on Twitter, you see it on Instagram, you see it on Discord. Like people will basically just shield this token. They'll be like, hey, come check this out, come check this out, come check this out, and that's usually what like a strong community will do. A strong community will basically preach that, like, hey, come check this out, because usually tokens that have a good social media presence and a good community will have a higher chance of succeeding. Now, before the coin is launched, it's also important to look at the fundamentals. Fundamentals like, tokenomics, fundamentals like what is actually, the idea and how exactly is this token going to work, but tokenomics like, okay, what's the distribution, how much percent is the team getting, how much percent are investors getting, how much percent is put for liquidity or for like all of this stuff. Because a lot of like the good projects, like they will have investors, and these investors will get some tokens, and some of these tokens will be locked, or they'll have like a vesting period. So like if I invest in your token, if I invest in your company in the very early stages, I'll get some vested tokens, meaning that these tokens will unlock over time. And by these tokens unlocking over time, it basically means that, like, okay, I'm giving you, like, let's say, like, 10% of the tokens, but you basically get unlocked, like 1% this year, 1% next year, 1% over the next year. So these tokens will start to get, released over time. And this is why it's important to understand the idea between the market cap and the fully diluted value. Market cap is basically how many tokens are in circulation right now at this particular moment, times the price of the token right now. So you'll find tokens like, hey, for example, like if a token has $100,000 in market cap and there's 100,000 tokens, it basically means that the price of the token is like $1 basically. Now the fully diluted value of the token is actually like how many tokens are there that are also vested, because over time, as these tokens start to get unlocked, the value of your token starts to get diluted. That's why it's like fully diluted value. Like as people start selling these tokens, as these tokens start getting unlocked, and the investor wants to get their money back, because they'll usually invest at like a very low price. So like, let's say, for example, the token, like is right now trading at like $1, and the early investor invested at like, like 1 cent. Like he made 100x anyway. So he might just sell these tokens for 100x, and then this will bring the price down because of all these tokens that are basically being unlocked. Now, the price of the token is actually not important. The price of the token is not important. The market cap is way more important, because when we invest into a token, if it's a token that has smaller market caps, like a few $100,000, like $1 million or 2 or 5, let's say, these are usually tokens that it's much easier for them to do like multiples of 10 100x, like so it's much easier for you to earn a lot more return on your investment. Now these tokens are also like more risky. But for some people it's a risk that they're willing to take. Like if you put $100 into a token that might do 100x, it's a pretty good investment. Again, depending on these other fundamentals and so on. Whereas if you invest in a token like Bitcoin, who has like almost $1 trillion in market cap, in order for this token to make like 2-3x, you basically like there needs to be another $1 trillion injected into this token, which is highly unlikely. Or I mean, it is likely, but it's harder to get these 100x's. And that's kind of like why it's important to understand that the market cap is more important than the price, because the token can have, like XRP, like the price can be like over, $1, but they have like billions of dollars in market cap, so it's much harder for it to like 2x, 3x, as opposed to like, a meme coin. But the $1 price is very important. That's why a lot of these meme coins have many zeros. So a lot of these meme coins have like 0.000000016 in price, because people say like, oh man, imagine if it's gonna go to $1, bro, $1. Like Bitcoin went to $60,000. If this coin goes to $1, we're gonna be rich. That's a narrative that a lot of people say, which is like highly unlikely for these meme coins to actually reach $1. But that's why they're meme coins, and that's why they're degens, and that's why these things are happening, and that's why people hope, and that's why they're trading penny stocks, kind of like in the market. Now, after you do all of these things, it's important also to look at the charts. If it's a coin that's already launched, it's important to look at the charts, and there's two important factors here. There's the humans that are looking at that are investing, and there's also bots that are investing. In chains like Solana, where it's very cheap to invest in tokens, it's very cheap to send the transactions. Like, it's basically less than pennies. Like with $1, you can make hundreds of transactions. So on chains like Solana, where there's a lot of tokens, there's a lot of meme coins, and there's a lot of it's very cheap to send these transactions. The network is basically overcrowded with bots. So there's a lot of botted transactions as far as buying and selling, buying and selling, buying and selling. So a lot of the times, the charts will basically go up and down because a lot of these bots are trading between them. It's very cheap. It's very simple for them to do, whether arbitrage or to like just go in, go out. Like there's also a lot of bots out there. Like you can subscribe to some of these bots that will basically earn like 2 to 5% per day. This is technically a pretty good bot. Like if it makes you like 5% per day, it's actually like great. So a lot of people are actually writing these bots, and a lot of these bots are trading, sometimes with very small amounts, sometimes with very large amounts. And an easy way for you to understand if there's a lot of bots is when you're reading a chart. You can see if these numbers look like human numbers, or if they look like like 1.697 Solana somebody invested. Like if they invested like $1.697, which is, I mean, what person will invest $1.697 into a token? This is probably a bot. And you can look at these charts this way to kind of understand, like, hey, how many people are versus how many bots are. And with time, you'll understand how to play this narrative in both situations. Now, for the chart, it's also important to understand, like, if it's recently went through a pump, if it's recently went through a major pump, a pullback, like it's likely to go down. Now, if it also, depending on why it pumped, if it pumped because of some news, it could still go up. But if it pumped because, like somebody, injected capital, it, probably will retrace back, and will probably take back a lot of this capital. But anyway, there's different reasons why coins will pump, and also why they will dump. So it's important also, if it's been through a dump recently, like don't catch a falling knife most of the time, because a lot of these tokens will never recover, especially if we're talking about meme coins. Once a meme coin has had like 1 or 2 pumps and started going down, it's almost never going to come back up. So it's important to not do that. Sometimes you might be too late, and sometimes when you invest in these meme coins, the pumps, the 100x's will mainly happen for 2 days, or 2 hours sometimes, or 30 minutes sometimes. You might be up and then you're going way down. That's why it's important to always be on the ball, to always be attentive. That's why the DJs, they have these big red eyes and they're up all night, because they're just like, man, another one. Oh my god, if this gonna pump, Anyway, so it's important to also look at the charts and understand the charts. Not like how to necessarily trade all the ups and downs, but to at least know how to read it and how to kind of like get the overarching narrative. So if you have all of these things put all together, if you understand the idea, if you understand if it's trending, if the website looks good, if you understand the technology of it, or maybe it's a meme, if the team is legit, if they have good social medias and good communities, if their telegrams or discords are active, if they have good tokenomics, if they have decent or good market caps, and the fully diluted value isn't too crazy, and if their chart looks pretty nice and it's not full of bots, you might be making them sweet gains, baby, on a token. Now I know that sounds like a lot, and I know it actually sounds like very little. We can go in depth more into like future videos. Just leave a comment and let me know like which part of it would you like me to talk about. You can also join the community, our community, and like where we discuss coins and where we discuss trends and where we discuss a lot of information about the crypto market. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. If you enjoyed this video, leave us a comment. Come to our community, join our Telegram group, follow our Twitter, follow our YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube, and all that good stuff. And we'll see you in the next episode. Peace.